Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, the show that is Jack's overused Fight Club reference. My name is Robert Paulson.
Well, I'm still Amanda, okay?
And I guess I'll go back to being Trevin.
Please, Trevin, this week is one of our new favorite holidays, 420. So please, let's not confuse the people too much, okay?
Yeah, we don't want to, especially if they're celebrating.
Do you have a dreadful dilemma this week?
I do have a dreadful dilemma, and it has a little bit to do with this devil's holiday.
Oh my God. What have you done?
Well, as you know, I like to enjoy my gummies on a relaxing day.
Totally.
And not too long ago, I had gotten a little deal where I could get a 50 milligram for pretty cheap. And I thought, hey, I guess I'll just try this thing.
Oh my God. Okay. Was it a gummy? Was it a chocolate? What was this 50?
It was a gummy. It was some sort of a sour, spacey thing.
And it was just one big one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, actually, it was one big one that was 100, and we split it in half.
Holy hell.
But it was one of those things where you just kind of feel funny in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, I stepped on my own leg.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't either. And Emily didn't believe me, but she was right there when I did it.
Did she die of laughter? Was she concerned? What was her mood?
Well, I had to reenact it, and it's really hard to reenact something as special as stepping on your own leg. Because it's not as believable when you reenact it.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe twice in a lifetime, kind of like the eclipse that just happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was on the steps and trying to have a conversation at the same time and turn another direction, and I had twisted my leg in some odd way, and my heel went right to my thigh on my other leg. I don't know, I must have weird spider legs.
I'm sorry, your thigh? I thought you were going to say your calf. How did you step up onto your thigh?
I just stepped on my leg. So
I thought you were going to on your calf. I don't know.
Now I was trying to turn to go back up the steps, and it was a bad pivot, and I stepped on my leg. And
At least you're nimble. I mean,
yeah.
You really could have pulled something if you weren't.
But I will say that since I brought up one gummy incident, I was looking through some of my episode notes and things I keep together. And I have this funny little folder in my phone called Ideas Wink Star.
Oh, okay. Those kind of ideas.
So I thought I would just share a couple random ones just to see what we think and if they were good or if we should use them.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so my first one is the opposite of terrorism is hug.
Okay. Wait, are these ideas for the world or for the podcast?
These are ideas for the world.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, not just the podcast.
I thought this was just podcast related, and I was trying to make that make sense. Okay.
Okay, here's another one. What's the sexiest sounding word in the food industry, and why is it tortellini? You know what I mean?
Oh my God, Trevin. Tortellini. If anyone can come at us with a sexier word, then by all means. But tortellini has my heart.
Yes, please give it a go. Lasagna is the only food that is classy, but is the trashiest as a microwave meal. Lasagna versus Salisbury steak. Lasagna wins. But microwave dinner lasagna versus microwave dinner Salisbury steak wins by a mile.
Wow. I don't know if I agree with that one, though. It's hard for me. I don't like either. I don't eat either. I don't know.
Okay. And here's my very last one, because I think the other ones might be gold and you might see them somewhere else later.
Wow. Okay.
But this was just a word of wisdom. A dirty crack can ruin your mindset for a whole day.
As in a butt crack?
I'm just saying.
What if you're walking down the sidewalk and you see a dirty crack there?
Well, that'll ruin your whole day too.
Will it?
A dirty crack is bad for you, but it's especially bad if someone else's is ruining your day. You know what I mean?
Totally. Keep those cracks clean, people. You heard the man. I think I'm on board with all of your ideas, except I don't know about the food one, but I'm sure we'll get opinions online.
Okay. I love the tortellini.
The tortellini I'm here for. That one I stan. Tortellini, like, that is so sexy.
Just feel your tongue as you say tortellini.
Tortellini. Wow, magical. That one's gold.
Riding the wave of tortellini.
So I also have a dreadful dilemma. And, this experience did actually take place when I was a little high myself.
Ooh-wee.
Both literally and physically, I might add. And no, I did not plan that. For my husband's birthday weekend, we went out one night. We went to what we call the Crossroads District. There's art for sale and food trucks and all these things. And while we were down there, we noticed, you can't help but notice it, Kansas City just built a gigantic Ferris wheel. It's called Casey Wheel. It's a 150-foot tall Ferris wheel. Mm-hmm. It's way too close to the highway, in my opinion.
It scares me to drive past.
And you know what? It does me too. And then I rode the damn thing, and it's also scary to be that close to the highway. Okay? Mm-hmm. But I will say, overall, if you are ever in the area, it's a very fun thing to do. As somebody who does get a little bit scared on rickety, tiny Ferris wheels that are like rocking a lot, this is nothing like it. It was really fun. It was a beautiful view, especially when we went at night.
Mm-hmm, with all the lights, would be really nice.
It was a little too close to the highway for my liking, but really, it was pretty cool. Now, the dreadful part of this dilemma for me is that while we were up in the Ferris wheel ride, we noticed that there was a couple in the cart next to us. Is that called a cart?
Boxcar, the box?
The box. So in the cart next to us, I'm just going to go with cart, we noticed that there was a couple in there. And we just so happened to notice that anytime we were on the down end of the Ferris wheel of the circle, okay? Mm-hmm. They were acting very reserved, sitting up very poised, at appropriate distance away from each other, okay? But anytime we rose up into the Kansas City skyline, okay, these two were macking hard.
Okay.
I'm talking hands through each other's hair, tongues deep down in each other's throats, maybe heavy petting, like passion. So imagine me and my husband and our group of friends, okay? We're noticing this and we're like, okay, something is up. Like, why are they acting one way on Earth and one way up in the skies when we're away from everybody when they should be looking at the beautiful vision?
Right. It's not a cheap ride.
It's not a cheap ride. And like, what are you hiding? Okay, so we were all trying to be detective at this point. Mm-hmm. We're high and we're high, okay?
Mm-hmm. Double high.
We're up in the sky.
High squared.
These are tinted-ish windows, so we can't get a very good look at these people. I, honest to God, could not tell you if they were young or old. We really couldn't tell, like, the age or what they looked like, okay? Mm-hmm. We just see what their bodies are doing, okay? So we are coming up with these random theories. One of our friends was like, what if they're brother and sister and they're in love and they're hiding it from their family? The other one was like, no, I think they're coworkers and they're on their break working at the Ferris wheel or the putt-putt golf that's down below. And this is the only time that they can be together. And then somehow, some way, it became a combined story that they were actually brother, sister, and coworkers. It was a big conspiracy. Okay.
Whoa. You should write tabloids.
As this is going on before our very eyes, I decide to whip out my video camera. And I get a video of all of us in the cart, like cheering them on, like, woo! And then I get turned and I pan the video and I zoom in on these people and they're just la, la, la. You can't see their faces or whatever. I might not be able to post it after what I'm about to tell you all. I'm just telling you that this is how the story went. So we get off of the ride, and we're obviously anxious to catch these horny lovers and to see their faces.
Yeah.
Like, show me who you are. I just witnessed a lot of passion back there. They step out. They are teenagers, Trevin.
Oh, no.
Teenagers. And we're like, they look kind of young, but we were still like, maybe they're like 18, 19 type teenagers, older, whatever. We took our old Volkswagen bus out that night. All of us pile back in. The girls do, and the boys go to the bathroom. We're in the bus, and we see the two lovebirds, and they get inside of a minivan that is parked next to us with the mom driving.
Aww.
They're not 18 or 19. They're young. These two don't have driver's license yet.
We remember those days.
I know, but now I'm like, I just recorded these tiny children macking in the Ferris wheel. We were cheering them on. Anyway, to all the parents out there, I, for one, will never want Lila or Winnie to go to the Ferris wheel alone. I'm going to be in the cart with them.
Well, now I don't want to ride in a Ferris wheel cart.
Because you never know who's watching you.
Or whose juices I'm sitting in.
Oh, that's so true. That was dreadful. I felt really weird after that. We were like, oh, that mom doesn't know what just happened up in the air.
I'm sure a lot of kids of that age probably expect it at this point. It's like, I'm going to go drop my kid off to go make out in public somewhere. Like, if it's not there, they probably just go to the movies.
The movies. If you're ever sending your kid to the movies, they're making out the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Or they're sneaking into the back of weird movies that I'm at.
Exactly. So today, we are going to be telling you all a round of top 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Top 5.
Top 5 on 420.
Oh my God. And Trevin,
Yeah.
if you do recall, we discussed, does this need to be 420 related? And we were both like, no way. And then here we are, and they both are. So
Yeah. You had given me this little pep talk and said, no, we can just say it would be great to hear this fact high. We're like, okay, cool. And then we both showed up almost playing chicken and saying, actually, we're just going to do marijuana facts anyway.
I don't know what I was thinking. So I am going to be coming from foodbeast.com. I'm not going to read exactly all the things that they said, but they did compile a pretty interesting list for this topic. They actually have a list of 8. Some of these are a little bit predictable, so I'm going to just use the 5 that I found to be the most unpredictable. But these are going to be the top 5 foods that can get you legally high.
Oh.
Or naturally high, if you will.
Oh, it's like dandelion seeds or some sort of seeds or something.
Stuff like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses before I give you some of these?
Well, the dandelion seeds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel like there was at least a second one I could think of. I don't know if there's some weird fermentation thing they can do, something that ferments, but I don't know what. But let's just stick with the one. We'll just say the seeds, the dandelion seeds or whatever.
Okay. I'm actually going to take out a couple of these because some of them are like, come on, mushrooms, wild mushrooms. We know this.
Oh, I didn't even think about that because I thought that was obvious.
That's obvious.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like poppy seeds. I've heard about the poppy seeds doing that. It's none of those. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the top 5 that I found to be fascinating. So for number 5, mulberries.
Okay.
Eating a bunch of unripe mulberries basically can drum up moderate batches of hallucinations, which I did not know. I grew up with a mulberry tree, and I'm glad I didn't know. I was kind of a weird kid. I didn't really need to hallucinate
But what if
anymore.
you were a weird kid that loved just eating large quantities of mulberries? Somebody should have said something to you.
Somebody should have. But I didn't know that you could get high from them. So that one was kind of weird. But also it says on here that the unripe fruit, especially in large quantity, will wreck the hell out of your stomach. So the high that you get is not worth it, everyone. Not in my opinion. Number 4, chili peppers. The endorphin rush that you get from peppers is pretty notable, kind of like when you get scared or, something's heating up in your mouth and you're like starting to panic. It's not kind of the highs that I like, but that's fine.
Yeah, I love a good panic high.
But it does say on this article, given that hot peppers are in the same botanical family as tobacco and deadly nightshade, it shouldn't be surprising that the ingestion process sends you for a whirlwind.
Huh.
So I found that to be interesting as well.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Do you like hot chili peppers, Trevin?
I mean, I like spicy stuff, but I have nothing to prove anymore. I don't want to eat till I'm like crying and shit. I like the spice. That's it.
No, we've paid our dues.
Yeah.
Number 3 is actually fish.
Oh, like when it's really, really old and then you hallucinate after you eat it?
Oh, God.
Some sort of poisoning, probably.
That would be something. So apparently you can get high off of a fish called the salima, also known as Sarpa salpa. It's found off the eastern Atlantic in the Mediterranean. The fish's body can be eaten. However, you are not supposed to eat the head. Apparently, the fish's heads are filled with psychoactive chemicals.
Yeah.
So you can only eat their body. I don't know. None of these are fun highs yet, in my opinion.
No, it's not something that people would be trying to sneak off in high school to do.
They're like, I'm desperate enough to just go find a Selma out there in the Atlantic and eat the whole head. Like, what?
Yeah, I got a bag full of fish heads. Meet me in the parking lot.
Okay. Number 2, moldy rye bread. I know you said something about fermenting.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I'll give you this one. When rye bread goes bad, a common grain fungi known as ergot rolls on in. So does chemical ergotamine. Didn't say that right. Which is used for lysergic acid. Basically, it says that this one would not be a fun high either, as it could become a swirly mess of madness and poison.
I don't know if that is like physically or metaphorically.
I mean,
I don't want to be a swirling mess of... What was it?
I don't even know anymore, Trevin. Turmoil, poison. I'm dying over here. And for the finale, nutmeg, which I'm pretty sure we talked about this as its own fact way far back.
Yeah, this does feel really familiar now.
It says on here that, yes, you can have a great high from nutmeg. However, it doesn't kick in for 5 to 6 hours. You could get bad flu symptoms, and you could also eat so much that you die.
Oh, so probably not worth the gamble, I would say.
Yeah, so none of them are worth the gamble at all. But if you are someone out there that is a betting person, maybe. I'm just kidding. I would not recommend anyone take any of those, but
you also have to wait 5 to 6 hours. When is that ever convenient? You're like 2 hours into your shift at work and you're like, okay, if I eat all this nutmeg now, I'm going to have a great night, or I'm not going to have a night at all.
And nutmeg is such a Christmas time holidays seasoning. I feel like you would almost have to be ingesting it around the holidays to even want to eat that much.
That's true.
And who wants to be high on nutmeg? Like, it's going to kick in 6 hours later. I don't know. I can't think of a good scenario.
And no one's going to think you're cool.
No, they're not going to be like, hey, man, pass me some of that nutmeg under the table.
Yeah. So I also have top 5 for you.
Okay.
And as you had talked about in the beginning there, we said it doesn't have to be about marijuana facts, and then we kind of went that way. So I was not feeling super creative, but I kept finding all these cool facts, and I wanted to share them all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the top 5 marijuana facts that moved Trevin on April 8th of 2024.
Wow. I'm inspired already.
This is a very special list.
Damn.
Because I made it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Number 5. On his 20th birthday, Bill Murray was arrested at Chicago's O'Hare Airport for trying to smuggle 10 pounds of cannabis, which he had allegedly intended to sell. It was discovered after Murray joked to the passenger next to him that he had packed a bomb in his luggage. Murray was convicted and sentenced to probation.
Oh my God. He packed a bomb. Don't ever say that on an airplane.
Yeah, why would you make that joke when you are trying to get away with something?
Oh my God, that's just a case of the over-explaining your weird behavior.
Or is he just that good of a comedian? Because that's hilarious.
I mean, it makes for a good bit, I guess.
Number 4. Marijuana was a racial slur given to the drug in hopes to deter white people from using it.
What?
Yeah, they thought that giving it more of a less American name, it was just going to make people say, ew, no thanks. But I think it kind of made people feel more adventurous at the same time, too.
Yeah, that was a fail on their marketing team.
Number 3. In 2001, Psy, the singer known for Gangnam Style, was sentenced to 25 days in jail for marijuana possession, causing him to miss his grandfather's final days on his deathbed and the funeral.
Oh, hell no.
Isn't that awful?
That is awful.
Ugh.
All for a little bit of weed.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that he somehow got an apology from somebody.
I really hope so, too. I understand that he was guilty at the time or whatever, but still, I hope somebody apologized.
Damn. And it's not like he was going to be there for years. It was just 25 days. It's like, let him go to the funeral.
Yeah, that's messed up. Number 2. There are more dispensaries in Colorado than Starbucks and McDonald's combined.
Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to let that one soak in. I have been to Colorado just because that's where some of our family lives, but there's a lot of Starbucks and McDonald's there too.
Mm-hmm. That comes from thchealth.com. I've seen a lot of websites say it, so if anybody wants to tell me I'm wrong, I've seen some where they've just said just Starbucks, but I've also seen many people say that both of them combined.
Damn. Okay. It was, for the longest time, one of the only states that was recreational, right?
Yeah, they've had it for a while.
It makes sense, but wow.
The number 1 marijuana fact that moved me on April 8th of 2024. The first online transaction made was the selling of marijuana. In 1972, long before eBay or Amazon, students from Stanford University in California and MIT in Massachusetts conducted the first ever online transaction. Using the ARPANET account at their artificial intelligence lab, the Stanford students sold their counterparts a tiny amount of marijuana.
Okay, I love that fact.
I thought you'd want more of an uplifting one.
And it's just a bunch of nerds just trying to get a little high.
Yeah, and that comes from canaconnection.com.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of those facts that really moved you.
Thank you. And you're welcome.
And now I'd like to share a couple ads that moved me. And we are back. I am going to be telling you all my 420 petty crime first this week.
I'm ready. I know that you love this holiday for our show.
Yes.
And I do too. I think we always try to be inventive in different ways and try to celebrate it in different ways. I'm just excited to see how you want to show your spirit this year.
I would say if I had to sum it up with a little bit of nostalgia and a lot of humor, that's what I'm going for.
That's how I like to do most things.
So, here we go. Growing up in the 90s and 2000s in America, I consumed tons of bizarre content on the television, commercials included. It was around this time when Above the Influence ran multiple anti-marijuana campaigns that would pop up in between the bright and cheerful kids' ads. You would know when one of these commercials was coming because the TV screen would turn a sepia color, and all joy was muted. They each told a dramatic tale of how weed had negatively impacted lives. One of the ads had a cute dog lecturing a teen girl about pot changing her.
You never play fetch anymore, you high asshole.
Another had a boy in his room building a weed cocoon around himself, only to emerge as an older man with a receding hairline and love handles.
What the fuck?
Yet the one that always stuck with me personally was the commercial about a young teen named Sarah. An interviewer's voice is heard asking Sarah what is going on here, but her friend sitting on the couch next to her answers for her. She explains that Sarah can't answer the man who is seemingly behind the camera. The lens then pans over to Sarah on the other couch. Only Sarah isn't a normal teenage girl. She sits there, looking more like a deflated balloon than an actual human being, gasping for air with a blank facial expression. Her friend explains that this is how Sarah's been ever since she started smoking weed, and that this is all they do now when they hang out. She calls Sarah lazy and boring as her silicone-looking floppy legs droop clumsily onto the floor. The ad ends with an awkward silence, almost sure to make anyone that views it uncomfortable. I'm sure that there are some who saw these early special effects and vowed never to touch the devil's lettuce. Then there are others like me, rewatching the ad all these years later, with a smoke and a laugh. No matter where you stand when it comes to cannabis, it is definitely a blazing topic that is sure to get people talking, and sometimes coughing. So light it up, or just sit back and chill, as I tell you all a petty story that's high on crime. A police officer's job is never done, but on a December day in 2018, it came close for the police department in Tenaha, Texas. 4 of their toughest officers had just completed a massive drug bust.
Get down, criminals!
And it was the talk of the department.
Last time I heard of a bust this big was about a gal with double Z's.
The brave foursome walked through the lobby and into a private office with their loot. Closing the door behind them, they carefully laid the illegal items out into a round table. Once all paraphernalia was posed, it was time that the 4 officers also did. The chief of police stood before them, ordering them to stand behind their table of findings.
There you go, men. Now stand with your hands clasped in front of you like you really mean business. You've all still got your bulletproof vests on? Good. Look right here at the camera and pretend it's all the future suspects we will hunt down just like this bust. 1, 2, 3.
The chief clicked his cell camera, capturing an image sure to intimidate any future criminals looking to cause trouble. The chief continued on to the hero standing before him.
You've made our station proud, boys. I'll be sending this image over to the local news station, so expect mild fame headed your direction if this thing goes viral,
he said, only half joking. It was later that afternoon when East Texas local news station KTRE 9 received the proud image via email attachment. It was then forwarded to the news outlet's social media intern, Mindy, with the message,
"Please post ASAP and make it sound good."
Intern Mindy popped her bubblegum as she downloaded the image of the officers and logged into the news station's Facebook. She began to type out a short, descriptive, and serious caption, reading, "Officers with the Tenaha Police Department arrested 3 people on felony drug charges Monday after they executed a search warrant on a home and found marijuana, prescription pills, drug paraphernalia, packaging materials, guns, and cash." Mindy chomped her gum confidently as she clicked post. After her lunch break, Mindy logged back into social media to monitor any comments online. To her amazement, there were tons and tons of comments on her most recent post, much more than normally received. However, her excitement was quickly snuffed out as soon as she began to read the feedback. The first comment read,
"World's smallest weed bust ever, LMAO. 1 empty pill bottle, 1 bottled water, $80, 2 high points, 2 bargain brand sandwich bags, and 2 pounds of rabbit grass. Oh."
Although Mindy hadn't personally been a part of the drug bust and was still just an intern at the news station, the comment had stung. She continued to read the other comments, certain that the first one had been posted by a wannabe comedian or something. Yet, to her shock, the disses kept coming.
"Who is the drug dealer, El Cheapo?"
asked one snarky responder.
"Is that drug money or gas money?"
Another questioned sarcastically. Mindy looked around her small office in a panic. Had she really just created a viral post for all the wrong reasons on her first week of interning? She took a few deep breaths before clicking on more responses.
"That's how my daughter spread her money out on her 7th birthday.
a local mother compared.
Sick! This is Play School's My First Dealer set,
described a nostalgic young man.
This is what happens when you start giving out trophies for 7th place,
retorted an angry grandfather. The roasting comments were endless and coming in from people of all walks of life. There were no number of breathing exercises that were going to fix this one. Mindy needed to tell her boss. Mindy explained the post and how it had gone viral to her superior. She scrolled down the long list of comments, explaining that every single item in the drug bust was being closely examined. Screenshots of individual items on the table in the image were posted in the comment section with belittling and immature humor. A screenshot of some Ziploc baggies was posted along with the comment,
"Just look at those bargain brand sandwich bags standing there guilty as hell."
A screenshot of the cracked cell phone that was recovered from the bust was posted with the remark,
"More crack on that phone than the table."
And a screenshot of one of the meeker-looking officers involved in the bust was posted individually with the words,
"This man here plays Fortnite when he's off duty."
Mindy and her boss winced at the shade being thrown in the comments. The post had also sparked side conversations between viewers as they tried to guess what the small golden circular object lying on the scale in the image was. One hungry person asked,
"Is this a Ferrero Rocher chocolate?"
while a Harry Potter fan theorized,
"So we just gonna pretend like this drug dealer wasn't selling some bootleg golden snitches?"
The image was being picked apart, with new conspiracies being formed every minute. Mindy and her boss both decided that they would read one final comment and then decide if they should remove their post altogether. Scrolling down slowly, Mindy clicked on the very next response, reading,
"So y'all found 2 pounds and $71? Man, if y'all don't give them they personal stash back, y'all pettier than a freshly cheated on baby mama."
On December 5th of 2018, a drug bust was conducted by the Tenaha Police Department of Tenaha, Texas. According to jail records, John Jones, 29, Letishana Gray, 26, and Carlton Horton, 28, were arrested in connection with the drug raid. After the suspects were in custody, the 4 reporting officers gathered around a small table, carrying the collected items from the bust. A photo of the officers with the paraphernalia was later posted by local news station KTRE-9 on their Facebook page. The image shows the 4 officers with their hands all clasped in front of them and sporting their toughest mean mug facial expressions. Yet, as soon as the image was posted, it was clear that it wasn't intimidating anyone. Commenters joked about the small amount of cash fanned across the table, while others poked fun at the large amount of empty off-brand plastic baggies. No items or officers were off-limits, as responders roasted them at full force. The Facebook post about the drug bust reached more than 17 million people. It was shared by many publications, including BuzzFeed, the Houston Chronicle, and the Inquirer, only drawing in more comments. It is unclear if the Tenaha Police Department either deleted its Facebook page or temporarily changed its settings to private after social media commenters overran the department with negative comments. But they did make a lengthy statement, including the sentiment that
there is no such thing as a minor or inconsequential felony crime.
John Jones was charged with delivery of marijuana and possession of marijuana. Carlton Horton was charged with possession of marijuana, and Letishana Gray was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of a dangerous drug Class A misdemeanor. After this story, it is clear to me that there are still those deeply affected by the anti-pot ads of the 90s and 2000s. While some take a firm stand, posing seriously next to a table of fun bags, others use humor to lighten the mood of an over-dramatized depiction of marijuana. I'm not saying that either is right, but I am saying that one is more fun. Whether or not you partake this 420, I hope you can all remain high on life and out of jail.
Now I see what you mean when you said you did things a little differently too, but you didn't want to explain in what way you did it differently.
Yes, because it was much less about the crime itself and more about the roasting of the posting.
Yes. The very viral post that even I knew, I figured out what you were doing before we had got to it.
So is it the same one that you're thinking of? Do you think?
I'm sure of it. The dude,
It's 4 guys.
he's just little and he's like tough. He's like holding out his chest muscles and he's got the vest on.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
4 guys gathered around. And I will say, I still don't know what the golden snitch or the chocolate was. I don't know what that golden baggie was.
I guess I don't remember that.
I don't know. I'm going to post the picture, but I described it in as much detail as I possibly could within the story. But I will post it online. Everyone was just roasting. Yes, the picture in general, but then it was like screenshots of this item and then debating what this one was and then picking on this one officer. And it was just coming, the comments.
And it was like $71 or whatever.
Yes, they fanned out the money, you guys. And it's
that's
like
right.
$1 bills. Come on, guys.
Yeah, like the old guy said in the story, the 7th place trophies or whatever.
All of that did not need to have 4 officers and bulletproof vests. It was just so silly.
It didn't need a picture taken at all.
It didn't. It really, really did not.
And if they don't see that kind of amount very often,
I guess. And then I didn't even include this in my story or any of the follow-up at the end. After this happened, they did try to poke fun at themselves a little bit. I don't know, in a weird kind of serious way. But they all posed around like a single shoe on a table and they were all crossing their arms and being dramatic. Honestly, I don't even remember what the dumb little joke they said was about or what the crime was, but
Wow.
They tried to be funny afterwards and honestly, it really wasn't. Sorry, but
they're like, hey guys, we're part of the joke too. And it's like, nah.
no, I'm actually going to leave you out of it. Sorry.
Yeah, we are laughing at you.
But yeah, whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. I obviously made up the intern, didn't even give her any voices. I don't know the names of the officers. I didn't see it listed. I guess I could have dug a little deeper. But I did find the names of the people that were initially arrested.
Yeah. I'm curious how much time they ended up getting.
I know. I didn't see that anywhere. I actually, to find what they were even charged with, I had to separately look up that whole thing with just their names because all of the articles about it were so fixated on the roasting. It was like the police official site that I had to look up what they were charged with and everything.
I remember when that first came out, it started becoming really big that people would Photoshop what was on the table and just put different things of them being proud of it, like putting a puzzle together and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure you've seen the right one then. Yeah.
So then for you to have that extra information, I was like, hey, cool that you dug back to even figure out, because I never even thought about what the actual crime was on the original photo.
I know. And honestly, I wish I could give the officers' names and not their names, but those were the names that I found.
They probably don't want you to give their names.
Yeah, probably not. But I guarantee that we will have at least a few connections, but I am curious to hear your take this week.
Funny enough, I actually had probably a paragraph and a half that I was going to do about Dare and all of that. And then I completely switched angles on what I was going to do with my intro. So we almost had a real good one there.
Do you remember those ads?
Oh, yeah. I'd almost kind of blocked out of my memory. But when you had first brought up the Cocoon Kid, completely forgot about it, but I remembered it the second you talked about it. And then, of course, as you were alluding to, the last one was like, oh, yeah, this is the deflated girl. But
Yep.
Those ads were crazy.
Do you remember the talking dog one? That one, I mean, I added that funny sound effect in. That's not obviously what he said. But in the commercial, it was like this cute little dog hopped up on a bar stool and he was like, and I don't remember the girl's name. Let's just say Sarah. He was like, hey, Sarah, you're not yourself when you smoke weed, and I really miss my friend. Anyway, I'm going to go outside now. And then he hops down. It's like something so innocent and simple. And then the teenage girl who's like trying to get her snacks just kind of looks over at him and is just like, what the fuck have I done? You know, like heartbroken.
I mean, that would make me stop smoking if my dog was talking to me.
And like a lot of people on that one in particular, when I was reading comments and looking into these again, people were like, what were they trying to convey here? She was high? Was the dog high? How's the dog talking? Like, what is this?
Yeah, the messages were kind of lost in just being weird and dramatic. We are telling very different kinds of stories.
Okay.
And I did things very differently for the holiday as well. And I'm excited for it. So why don't you all just kick back and do what you do best, whatever it is. And here we go. It's that time of year again. Taco Bell drive-thrus are causing traffic jams. Laughter can be heard from every teen's parked car. And the air can only be described as dank.
The skunks are back again.
That's right. It's 420. But instead of focusing on marijuana's storied past with hippies, Seth Rogen movies, and making Tool songs tolerable, I want to turn my focus towards its more healing aspects. I've always had a very complicated relationship with cannabis. My parents would refer to it as dope, and it was very much understood that any users of it were untrustworthy and not contributing their part to society. Each time a parent would hear about a friend of mine getting busted with pot, they would wince in pain, as if they just farted a really sharp potato chip. The disappointment would be palpable. Their reactions would range anywhere from, "They used to be such a sweet kid," to them telling me, "Never hang out with that child ever again." Marijuana wasn't casual. It was life-altering. And just one use would veer you off the highway of life and down a dark path. Of course, I knew this was bullshit. I was way too ingrained in pop culture and TV from a young age to even remotely buy into this Midwestern anti-drug propaganda. The Big Lebowski was cool when he smoked that roach in the bathtub, and Dr. Dre had way more money than my family. So if smoking weed every day does wreck your life, I was prepared to settle for whatever version of wrecked Dr. Dre had. Ultimately for me, I ended my youthful phase with the OG Kush after realizing that only partaking in social settings was not a good idea for someone who had yet to fully understand their own depression and PTSD. However, things took a turn when recreational marijuana became legal in Missouri. The bill passed in December of 2022, not only legalizing recreational use, but also protecting medicinal users from employment discrimination. Since my over a decade-long break, I had gained a lot of insight into my own mental health issues, and was wanting to do more with reconnecting my mind with my body. I knew I more than qualified for a card, so I figured I'd give it a try. As I began to have a gummy on sad or stressful nights, I started noticing some changes in me. My mind started picking up on my satiety cues during dinner. I could actually relax during my relaxed times. And maybe it did open my mind to some new audio ideas for the stories. Something about this helped me push out of the mental cycles I had been stuck in. The eating disorder I had taught myself after years of unhealthy dieting, the overstressed mentality that caused me to dissociate from my body, and the lack of inspiration that came from using my energy to try and fix myself. They weren't gone, but putting in the hard work felt way more doable. I understand that discussing this topic can be contentious, especially given its politicized history since the 70s. It's possible that some may disagree with my perspective, and I may even receive one-star reviews as a result. However, integrating cannabis into my life in moderation while prioritizing self-improvement has genuinely changed my life for the better. I feel more present and engaged than ever before, despite the possibility that my lifestyle might lead some to label me as one of those dopes. So this 420 holiday season, keep your buds close, but keep your enemies closer, because everyone is going to need at least a contact high after this one.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ferguson. I hope you're ready for your weekly delivery. I've got some bomb-ass granddaddy perp that should knock the pain right out of those treatments you're going through.
Bless you, Jennifer. Not only has the pain been pretty bad this morning, but my son is bringing his annoying-ass kid over to visit me later. He's always accidentally stepping on my oxygen hose and asking me for my candy. I'm gonna need to get real baked if I'm gonna survive another visit from him.
Don't you worry. One hit of this shit will lay you out like a steamroller hit ya. The shrill voice of that little kid will sound like music to your ears once the granddaddy gets his sticky leaves on ya.
You're truly too good to me.
I understand chronic pain. Now light this up and prepare for liftoff.
Welcome to the life of Jennifer, a Michigan caregiver spreading good feelings during the year of 2014. Growing up with MS, Jennifer spent a lot of her younger years dealing with pain, But adding a heart condition to the mix made things even more difficult. No typical pain meds were safe for her to take, leaving only one option to bring normalcy to her life: marijuana. Since marijuana was legalized for medicinal purposes in 2008, Jennifer immersed herself in the world. It had given her a second life, free of the limitations multiple sclerosis had put on her. And once she felt the healing properties of the plant, she wanted to pay it forward. Along with her husband, who was also a caregiver, the two went through the processes to legally grow and distribute the plant to their patients. They had become merchants of good vibes and relief for all they came in contact with. Returning home from her visit with Mr. Ferguson, Jennifer went upstairs to the couple's locked grow room. "Hey, honey," her husband shouted over the sound of spray bottles and fluorescent plant lights. "I hope everything is going well with Mr. Ferguson." Jennifer went to the corner of the room, where she loaded her backpack with pre-measured baggies.
He's as ornery as ever,
She said,
I'm going to load up Judith's order so I can deliver it after dinner.
closing and locking her specialty book bag. Jennifer went downstairs to start on her family's meal. A short time later, the family sat down to enjoy Jennifer's freshly cooked meal. She looked over at her husband and 4 teenage children, thinking about how lucky she was. A beautiful family, the fulfillment of helping others, and a remedy for her own personal pain issues. What more could a mother want? But as she chewed her Instant Pot Korean barbecue short ribs, a pounding at the door interrupted her euphoric meat mastication. Jennifer quickly swallowed her bite and made her way to the door. But before she could turn the knob, her front door was already flying open.
This is a raid!
She heard as a masked man holding an assault rifle ran into her home and began yelling at her.
Are you Jennifer Hensey?
Yes!
She squealed with tears in her eyes, scared to react or even move.
We are here to conduct a drug raid on your home because we believe you are possessing and distributing marijuana.
I am. I have a legal license to do just that. I'm compliant with all of Michigan's drug standards for licensed caregivers.
Oh yeah? What's in that book bag then?
Jennifer looked over at her special book bag that she just packed with Judith's order, feeling like the SWAT officer before her didn't listen to anything she just said.
It's marijuana, but it's below the legal limit, and I have a medical license.
The intimidating man in tactical gear began to shake his head, confirming all of his suspicions.
That's exactly what I was expecting you'd say. Boys, it's time to raid.
As the macho man made his announcement, a small army of St. Clair County's drug task force seeped into her personal space. They dispersed like rats being dumped out of a 5-gallon bucket, each one occupying a different corner of Jennifer's home. As officers went down the line, confiscating each family member's phone, a duo of SWAT guys worked together to load up all of the home's TVs.
Jackpot!
And the lead officer from the door went directly upstairs to the locked grow room.
Excuse me! I need you to unlock this door. You're not allowed to have personal or private space during a raid.
Overstimulated and in a frenzy, Jennifer ran up to join the lead officer.
Just so there are no surprises, this is the grow room.
She said, pulling her keys from her pocket.
We grow in a separate, locked room in order to remain compliant with the Michigan medical marijuana laws.
As the door opened, the gruff man's face was bleached from bright plant lights.
I'm gonna head to the bedroom,
he said, leaving Jennifer standing at the grow room door. Joining his fellow officers in the bedroom, the lead officer went directly for Jennifer's panty drawer. Underwear, lingerie, and other intimates flew behind the officer as he went through the drawers like a dog digging a hole.
What do we have here?
The officer said as another joined him.
That looks mighty suspicious to me,
his teammate replied, handing over an evidence bag.
We better bag this up for later investigation.
Creeping slowly to her bedroom doorway, Jennifer peeked in to see a troubling scene. Clothes off hangers and on the ground, lingerie hanging from the ceiling fan, and right in the hands of the lead officer was her vibrator. The anxiety of the situation was already too much, but this was a whole other level of invasive. Jennifer knew better than to intervene with any of these armed police bros, choosing instead to go downstairs and watch as her life slowly got packed into SWAT vans. The Hensey house had become a shell of the home it once was. TVs, iPads, cell phones, a lawnmower, a ladder, bicycles, her child's birthday money, medicine, the vibrator, and so much more were taken. By the end of the evening, Jennifer felt just as empty as the house she resided in. There were no words exchanged, as each family member reflected on the evening, silently and alone. The whole process had been emotionally draining, but on top of the sadness was a lot of confusion. Why was she raided when she was legally licensed to perform these tasks? Why take a vibrator or ladder? And why did the Drug Task Force leave the actual marijuana growing supplies? Unjustly handed a charge of possession with intent to deliver, Jennifer felt like she wasn't even heard. Like the legal hoops she jumped through for the past 5 years didn't protect her at all. There was no doubt in her mind that she was innocent. It was time to take all the anger and sadness she was feeling straight to court, to clear her name and get her stuff back. Weeks later, Jennifer sat in a Michigan courtroom, awaiting her verdict. With the help of her attorney, the two laid out evidence and proper precautions taken to ensure that all marijuana deliveries and manufacturing was done in compliance with Michigan law. But still, nothing else had made sense during this ordeal. Even though the logic of her proof felt sound, there was no telling what the judicial system may have in store for her.
All rise for Judge Wrinkle Butston. Thank you all for your patience. While I looked over all the exhibits provided henceforth to my judiciary court, from the second we commenced this drug-related court case, I have felt a very uncomfortable breeze up my robe. And that cold wind is more than just the faulty courthouse AC system. The chills that have been plaguing my balls for the past 45 minutes can only be described as shriveling air of injustice. Mrs. Hensey has followed all laws set forth by the Michigan Medical Marijuana Rule Book, both with delivering and growing her medical plants. I see no crimes occurred here and grant no charges for Jennifer Hensey.
The marijuana mom and her family took a huge sigh of relief, knowing that the nightmare was over and truth ultimately prevailed. It was time for Jennifer to get back to healing her patients and no longer need to borrow her neighbor's ladder. With hard work and bravery, she was finally going to get her stuff back. The following Friday, Jennifer and her husband went down to the prosecutor's office to negotiate the release of the family belongings. They explained their situation and brought proof that the judge decided no crime occurred. Instead of scheduling a time for delivery in their computer, the front desk worker stumbled over their words, unable to make eye contact.
Hold on, let me get my boss,
They said, quite nervously. The couple waited behind the front counter before the prosecutor from her court case greeted her.
Yeah?
The judge ruled no crime occurred. I wanted to see how we go about getting my stuff back.
Well, I can still beat you in civil court. I can still take your stuff.
In July of 2014, Michigan's St. Clair County Drug Task Force raided the home of medical marijuana grower and caregiver Jennifer Hensey. Once her door was breached, armed and masked officers ransacked her home, confiscated items such as children's bicycles, TVs, a ladder, a car, soccer equipment, a vibrator, and much more. Jennifer Hensey was originally charged with 6 criminal charges related to possessing and distributing the drug, before clearing her name by proving her compliance. However, after the possession charges were dropped, prosecutors appealed the decision. I can still beat you in civil court. I can still take your stuff, Jennifer said, quoting what the prosecutor said on the day she went to collect her things. The prosecutor was able to consider the confiscated items an act of civil forfeiture. According to Cornell Law School's website, civil forfeiture allows the government, typically the police, to seize and then keep or sell any property that is allegedly involved in a crime or legal activity. Jennifer Hensey testified before the Michigan House Judiciary Committee in May of 2015. During the committee, Hensey explained the abuse of these rules, how the items confiscated weren't even used for manufacturing or distributing the drug, and the standard of proof should be raised for what items are confiscated. This has also raised ethical questions on the possibility that people would be targeted for the value of their stuff that could be confiscated. It wasn't until August of 2015 when all civil and criminal charges were dropped by the prosecutor, quote, in the interest of justice. In subsequent interviews, Jennifer stated that she believes the charges were dropped in order for the prosecutors to save face, and that she believes medical marijuana users are being targeted for easy forfeiture gains. Sharmi Gulson, a member of Michigan Moms United, was interviewed by Reason.com, where she said Jennifer's courage to speak up is likely what resulted in the reversal. Quote, drug task forces can count on the people they violate to remain quiet due to the threat of returning. They are armed and masked and terrifying. I've been interviewing SWAT survivors since 2010, and trust me, these people all want others to know what's happening to them, but they are too terrified to speak out. Yikes. The law and all their many gray areas are so terrifying. I'm sure the fear you felt through this story was enough to make you want to register for a medical marijuana card. But if you're in Michigan, maybe don't. I know we all love a good 420 story, but I thought I'd change things up this year. It's fun to toot a hooter and shoot the breeze, but there are some people out there who are getting blazed on that stick yicky, all in the name of health. And we all know that the government is always trying to recoup losses after new laws pass. But just because I told you a cautionary tale about the legal side of this party medicine doesn't mean I want to ruin this holiday for everyone. I brought the most horrific side of that subject so you can all go and enjoy the best part. Go watch Half-Baked through your own dank clouds. Roll some bones under a breathtaking sunset. Or just pop a couple of sour gummies and go to bed at 5:30. There are no rules, except of course the state rules that govern just how much you can legally enjoy this day. But whether you follow those rules is your prerogative. Medicine or not, I can't help but think about the wise words of Cypress Hill. Forward motion makes you sway like the ocean. The herb is more than just a powerful potion.
Wow, that is so violating and disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
They just went through all of her personal belongings, dug through them all, and then kept them.
Yeah, for 10 months. 10 months
Good
without...
God.
I mean, they would have had to have bought new phones to get by with, get their numbers transferred over.
There was a bike. There was a ladder. I mean, there was a vibrator. All useful items. But seriously, what? That is so creepy.
Yeah, and really good on her. Like the quote towards the end that I had shared, it really was good for her to speak up because had she not, she probably just would have lost her stuff. Mm-hmm. And the video of her testimony is online. She's just like, why a ladder? Why my vibrator? Why are these people taking my stuff?
Yeah.
Civil forfeiture, what they should have been taking was the products to grow marijuana.
Yeah.
Because if she's illegally growing marijuana, they don't want her to continue doing it until they know she can legally do it.
But a vibrator?
Yeah, but instead they take all of this other stuff. And she said that her lights and stuff for the marijuana growing was still there. Like they didn't even take the stuff that makes the drugs. They took her children's bicycles and money and stuff.
Which I was going to say, both of our stories talked about children's birthday money specifically. Yours said that her child's birthday money was taken, and mine had a comment that was like, they splayed the money out like my child did on their 7th birthday.
Okay.
And also, the main one, there were both raids too.
Yeah, I was going to say raid was in yours.
They both have raids. But that was like a very weirdly specific piece to it. I was like, oh my God, children's birthday money.
Wow.
So specific. But yeah, I'm not surprised that it didn't talk about if the police officers got in trouble for that behavior or not. I assume they didn't.
I don't think they did. I will say that I made up the main guy and him not being impressed with the grow room, but I only added that just because I know they knew the grow room was there and they didn't take anything. Mm-hmm. And I also don't know if there was like one specific pervy guy who went straight for the panty drawer, but I can tell you that they did say lingerie was thrown everywhere and that her vibrator was confiscated.
That is so weird.
I kind of just colored in the lines there.
Yeah. Oh my God, how bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, why would a criminal confidently keep pushing it for that long? You know what I mean? Like, I understand if you tried it once to see if they'll fold, try to be a catch me if you can sort of thing. But if the person just keeps saying like, no, I legally do this, no, I legally do this.
Yeah. At
some point, you'd think the officer would be like, oh, I should maybe stop pursuing this.
No. Some people just don't think like that, Trevin.
Yeah. It's not like it really came back on them at all.
Yeah, if they're not in trouble, they can probably justify like, oh, we thought it was illegal, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So annoying. Could you imagine if they would have laid out all of her items on a table and then posed behind it? Vibrator and all?
Oh my God, that would have been kind of funny. But they would have needed a photographer on a ladder to probably show all the stuff they took. I think they even said there was a car. I don't know if I put that in the story.
Oh my God.
So like, yeah, why do you need to take these things?
What in the world? Well, the connections were off the chart.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that whether you guys are out there, and like we said, you don't have to be high to enjoy 420. I hope you're just having a relaxing and awesome week. But just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to do that thing you do.
Bye.
See ya.
Hey, you kids, stop making out on the Ferris wheel. But thanks for listening to our show.
And I can't be the only one who stepped on my own leg, right? Find us on social media and tell me you've done it too. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And have you ever roasted a police department online? If so, send us your petty crime story, livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show the same rating you'd give Colorado's variety of dispensaries. 5 stars. Give us all your stars wherever you rate podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods. She's a woman in her early 50s.
Okay.
She's from Michigan, and I've actually heard her speak. She actually sounds kind of Minnesota kind of.
What does that mean? Do a Minnesotan.
Minnesota. Like she kind of
okay.
that little bit of that. I don't know. You don't have to do it.
Okay, I'll try it out. Like it'd be like good. Like good. Good afternoon, Mr. Ferguson. I hope you're ready for your weekly delivery.
No.
What does it sound like?
That sounds like one of those like women who wear clogs and the white dresses.
That sounded Dutch.
Oh, would you like some strudel? Maybe just go for like just a charming middle-aged woman. Like she's nice, like in her early 50s.
You're killing me. Okay, I got this.